Do you know that Candida infection can be the underlying reason of all your health problems? This is what we are going to talk about today. Hi, I am Dr. Anshul Gupta. I am a functional medicine expert and I help people reverse their chronic diseases and improve their health. So, what is Candida and how does Candida infection lead to all the health problems? So, Candida is a simple fungus which lives in our body. Our body has numerous pathogens that lives in it, which includes different kinds of parasites, bacteria, viruses, fungus, and then they all live together in your body. And Candida is one of those pathogens that live in our body. So Candida lives in our gut, it lives in our skin, it lives in our genital area, all of those places. Well, if Candida lives normally in our body, then why we are calling Candida infection is bad for us? So what happens is that in our body, all the good and the bad pathogens live together and there is a harmony between them. Then there is a balance that happens. And what happens when a Candida overgrows in our body is that that balance tips off in the wrong direction. And that's where we get a Candida infection. So the most common Candida infection that females have is either a vaginal yeast infection or we see skin infections of Candida. But what we are talking about actually is an overgrowth of Candida in our gut. Now this is something that we do not talk about, and this is very important, especially if you are suffering from a chronic health condition. So now we know that an overgrowth of Candida in the gut has been linked to several health disorders, including thyroid, Hashimoto's disease, gut problems like constipation, diarrhea, IBS, IBD like Crohn's disease, if you have autoimmune conditions, if you have neurological conditions like epilepsy or other neurological pain, and much more. So all of these conditions have now been linked about overgrowth of Candida in our body, but nobody's talking about it and nobody's doing anything about it. So that's very important to know about Candida infections if you are suffering from any of these diseases. Okay. Now, how do you know that you might have Candida, right? So there are certain symptoms that are associated with the Candidal overgrowth in your gut, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So what are various symptoms? So first of all, the symptoms are associated with the gut. So if you have a Candidal overgrowth, then you might suffer from gut symptoms like diarrhea, constipation, bloating, uneasy feeling in your gut. All of these symptoms are because of Candidal overgrowth. The second set of symptoms are associated with neurological symptoms, with brain fog being number one. If you have problem with concentration, if you have ADHD like symptoms, like you cannot concentrate on things, or if you're forgetting things, these are again signs of Candidal overgrowth. The third symptoms is fatigued or feeling tired. So Candida can lead to fatigue or tiredness. The other symptoms obviously are if you have a frequent skin infections, if you're having frequent vaginal infections or even urinary tract infections, those can all be linked to frequent Candida infections. Now, if you're having difficulty in losing weight, especially if you have sugar cravings, that is again sign of Candidal infections. Okay. So as you see, there are so many different symptoms that can be present, which can point you towards that whether you have a Candida infection or not. Okay, so now you have one of these symptoms and now you want to know whether you have a Candidal overgrowth in your gut or not. What do? What are different kinds of tests available? So let's talk about different kinds of tests which are available for check for Candidal overgrowth. So the first test which is available for Candidal overgrowth is stool test. Now this is not the normal stool test that if you go to your regular doctor and they will do it. This is a special stool analysis which most of the functional medicine doctors or integrative medicine doctors offer you. What it does is that it looks for Candida in your stools. It tries to grow Candida, so it tries to culture the Candida as well as check for Candida by all different methods like checking the antibodies and stuff in your stool sample. So that's one way of checking Candida in your body by doing this special stool analysis through your functional medicine doctor. The second way of checking Candida in your body is by checking organic acids. Again, this test is not available by regular labs, so it is very important to work with your functional medicine doctor to get this test. So what happens is that when you have a Candidal overgrowth, your body produces certain organic acids which are released in your body and basically you pee them out. through your kidneys. Okay, so by checking those special organic acids, we can actually know if you have a candidal overgrowth going on in your body or not. So that's the second way of checking for candida infection in your body. The third way is by checking blood test. Okay, so there are certain blood tests, especially checking for antibodies in your blood for candida infection. So there are certain antibodies that your body forms against candida infection, which can be checked, which are IgM, IgGs, and candidal complex. Okay, which can be checked in your blood. Now this is the easiest test to do, but this is a test which is not always very confirmatory. Because let's say you have these antibodies positive. Now these antibodies can be positive even if you had a previous candida infection going on in your body. So that's why these antibodies are not recommended to be tested on a regular basis. So that's the reason the blood test is the last test to do. And definitely checking the stools or checking organic acids are the best way of checking for a candidal infection in your body. Okay. Now let's talk about how does candida actually cause all these other medical issues that we spoke about. So what happens is that, when there is an overgrowth of candida, it basically hijacks your immune system and decreases your immunity and also causes inflammation in your body. How does it do it? When it hijacks the immune system, it basically produces certain chemical changes in your body which produces inflammation. And what that does, the high inflammation is actually responsible for causing all these various diseases, which includes the thyroid, which includes autoimmune conditions, which includes the gut problems, neurological problems. So that's the one way that candida actually causes all these different medical issues. The second way candida actually causes all these medical issues is by something what we call as molecule mimicry. So candida, when it overgrows, the molecule or the chemical structure of your candida is very similar to some of the chemical structures in the different organs of your body, especially thyroid. So we have seen that your thyroid molecular structure can sometimes be similar to some of the molecular structure in candida. So when your body is trying to kill candida, in turn actually starts to kill your own thyroid bodies. Okay, and that's what happens in autoimmunity. And this is what we call as molecule mimicry. So these are the two ways by hijacking your immune system and by molecule mimicry, actually candida is responsible for causing all these medical issues in your body. Okay. Now, the big question is that, you have all the symptoms of candida. You know that you have one of the medical issues which is associated with candida. You had done these testing that does show that candida. Now, can you do anything about it? So if you go to a regular doctor, like if you have a candidal infection, like a vaginal yeast infection or a skin infection, they are going to give you certain medications like nystatin or diflucan or fluconazole to help you with these infections. But these are short-term medicines to help out with that. They can be used on long-term basis, but my approach is a more natural approach. There are natural ways to treat a candida infection, and all of these medicines which I mentioned have a lot of side effects. So why to go that direction? So there are natural ways which you can improve your candida infection. Now what are those? First thing is food. Okay, so food actually plays an important role that can help you to get rid of candida. So what are the foods which can first cause candida infection or cause candida to overgrow? So the foods that cause candida to overgrow is sugar, high carb foods, processed foods, fast foods, fried foods, and also high alcohol intake. So these are all the foods which causes candida to overgrow because they feed the candida in your gut. Okay, so it is very important first of all to remove all of these foods. Okay, and then what food you need to eat? You need to eat food which are high in fiber content because they rebalance your microbiome and help you to get rid of candida. You also want to eat a lot of vegetables in your diet that again will help you to improve your fiber content in your gut and help to get rid of candida. The other thing that you need to include is that foods which reduces inflammation in your body, which are good quality proteins, good quality fats, okay, which is like coconut oil, which is your ghee, which is your avocados, which is your nuts and seeds. So all of these foods needs to be eaten. So this is kind of a big, big overview of the candida diet is that you need to remove all the foods, which causes candida infection, and you need to introduce food which can help you to get rid of the candida infection. So the food is very important to help you to get rid of the candida. But there are other supplements that actually you can take which also help to get rid of the candida. Number one is oregano oil. So oregano oil, through different forms, especially in the form of capsules, can be very, very helpful in reducing the burden of candida in your gut and also reducing the overgrowth of candida in the gut. Very easy to take, something that it is easily available through supplements. Okay. The second thing is caprylic acid. So caprylic acid is an amino acid which actually helps to get rid of the biofilm around the candida. So what does candida do? When the candida overgrows in your gut, what it does is that it forms a protective layer around it, and that protective layer is called biofilm. So even when you're taking a lot of medicines and stuff, they cannot penetrate this biofilm. So caprylic acid is a wonderful way because it helps to get rid of this biofilm and then helps you to get rid of the candida because your immune system can actually reach the candida to get rid of it. So that's the second supplement you can take. The third supplement is a probiotic. It's called Saccharomyces boulardii. So this probiotic again has shown to different research that it can help to reduce the amount of candida in your gut. Again, it is pretty natural, doesn't hurt your body, so it is helpful for your gut microbiome and also helpful to getting rid of candida in your system too. Okay, so these are the three main supplements that I use on the regular basis which can be helpful to getting rid of the candida too. So along with the diet and along with these supplements, if you take them together, most of the time you are able to get rid of the candida in your system. Okay. So today, you see that how important is candida and how it can actually hijack your immune system and can be the underlying reason of all your medical issues. If you have a thyroid disorder, if you have an autoimmune condition, if you have a neurological disorder, we know that research shows that candida can be the underlying problem. And unless you check for it, you don't know it. And the regular lab tests unfortunately do not show it. So it is very important to do in-depth analysis of your candida by doing organic acids or doing a specialized gut analysis to know if you have a candida problem. And then if you have it, it is very important to get rid of the candida in a more natural way so that you don't get a die of reactions, which a lot of people get when they get these, medications and stuff. Okay, so you see candida is important to eliminate from your diet. Okay, so I'm Dr. Anshul Gupta. I do help people by making personalized functional medicine plans to reverse their chronic diseases. If you're interested in working with me, I provide online functional medicine consultations for people all over the world. The link is in the description of how to get started with me. Thank you so much.